What's going on, everyone? So, what's important, family, is the primaries are actually coming up here very soon in November. And this is going to be the most important things for Democrats. And as black Americans, descendants of slaves, this is where we can show our power. Because the Republicans has really been doing a great job of advertising and marketing politics. But of course, we know it doesn't matter what parties that is actually is in office will essentially do anything for us freely. Meaning, we need to start using our vote. And I know people like Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, a lot of the Democrats have demonized weaponizing your vote. And we're not using our vote as a weapon. We're not using our vote as a weapon. It's a bargaining chip. It's leverage. That's not a weapon. We're not using it in a very demonic, combative way. No, we're using it as ways to bringing people to the table to get what we are actually owed and quite frankly actually need. That's the problem here, family. Because think about it. Your parents, your parents' parents have been voting Democrat for the past 50 or 60 years. And look at the state of black America. Foundational black Americans, with the third lowest population in America, we are the poorest group of people. And a lot of us would like to blame one another. A lot of people like to blame their family in some sorts, their conditions. They will believe that they didn't get help to be where they are. Black Americans, did you know there's a high percentage of us that actually suffer from mildew illnesses because of our conditions? Don't forget, family, the condition that we're in wasn't brought on by ourselves. We had help, a lot of it, in every facet of life, and especially with this government. So them keep using these scare tactics or kind of warmongering the vote. What they try to do is demonize candidates. So you have this ancestral commitment to vote. No, our ancestors, the people who fought and bled for us, they did that in order for us to have a choice, a right. See, freedom is about choice. And that's what people are not understanding. Freedom is about choice. You have choices when you are free. But what do Democrats continually do to the black community? They make you seem as though you're obligated to do it, which in some people subconsciously take away choice. But maybe we're not looking at that. So in New York, they have been accepting a lot of illegal immigrant migrants. And for a long time, New York has always been known as the city of immigrants or the state of immigrants because they had really paper thin immigration laws, just as well as Texas in some areas. And the one thing I understand it, but I say I don't understand it, is that why is it that none of the business owners that hire illegal immigrants get locked up, get charged with a crime, get incarcerated? But they would deport the illegal immigrants as though they were criminals. Right now, essentially, technically, literally, if they are knowingly breaking the law by entering the United States of America illegally and they know that, then yeah, they're committing a crime. Now, even technically, if they didn't know it was a crime, it's still a crime because that's what our laws state. But with that being said, what about the business owners that are offering jobs and opportunities for illegal immigrants to come across the border? So that's something to look at as well. But Texas and New York has always been those two states that just kind of openly, open their arms to immigrants, illegal and non-illegal immigrants. So that's important as well. And I think it's very pertinent that we take a look at it because there's immigrants in every state, family. There's illegal immigrants in every state. And what happens when you have a mass population of people from all other countries come to settle in your country? I really want you guys to really think about history. When we talk about Genghis and Kublai Khan, we talk about all the different types of Chinese dynasties. You think about Rome. One of the key components of all of these great dynasties and empires failing was overpopulation. So America, we've always known to have land, which is one of the second most precious thing probably in the world, fresh water and land. And everybody's coming here. And when we say taking jobs and opportunities and things of that matter, you really do have to ask yourself the question, are you willing to do what they're doing to earn less than minimum wage? And most of us, I would like to believe, would say no. But again, I harp back on who are offering those opportunities to draw illegal immigrants into the country. So now we have to look at the American government. When we look at the American government, we're stating, what is America doing to make the immigration process better? What are we doing to actually secure our borders? And then one side of the party, like Democrats, will have you to believe that that is crimes against humanity, that we want to secure our countries, right? And then on the Republican side of the house, we're looking at them like, man, y'all seem really racist. So now you're up in arms, so you just kind of fall in place with the Democrats. And see, this is why I think it's important, once again, beating a dead horse here, is to be apolitical like myself. Not with the Democrats, not with the Republicans. I just go with logic. I just go with common sense. Now, the Texas governor, as well as the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, Satan, or whatever his name is, and also Greg Abbott, started to bus migrants to the Northeast. Okay, they started to busing migrants to the Northeast. Excuse me, let me back up. Let me be politically and legally correct. Illegal immigrant migrants, because they came into the country illegally, which made them immigrants, and then they got moved, or they moved, shipped, flew, bus, whatever, to another part of America. So illegal immigrant migrants. This is the reason why there's not enough money in any of these legislation budgets that came out recently, the American Recovery Act, the Inflation Act, and all these other legislation that came out. There's no money in there to secure the border. So Arizona, New Mexico, Florida, Texas, all of these states are saying, you know what? We're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do this anymore. Now, Texas and Florida just so happen to be the two states that really take some action. Say, okay, the Democrats, you have control of the House, you have the control of the Senate, you have control of the presidency. We've been asking for this money. When Donald Trump was in office, he was getting it billed. Hey, I don't care if it's a left thing or a right thing. I tell people this all the time. I've been to over 40 countries. In the countries I've been to, whether they be third world, second world, or developing country, guess what? Their borders were more secure than the most powerful country in the United States of America. But here's the thing. If you believe like immigration isn't affecting you, then you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm a Democrat. I'm going to just vote for it. I know. But you're not thinking the ramifications of millions of other people coming to settle where you live because they decided not to make their country better. They came to where the foundation of this country has been built by black people, your ancestors. So we don't look at it in the broad terms. And they're coming over here and being fruitful and rich. And the only thing you can think about is, I'm just going to do me and they do you. No. Here's the thing about overpopulation, family. Everything runs out. Fresh water runs out. Food runs out. Land runs out. And that is what we're not looking at. Is some Americans are moving to Mexico. Some Americans are moving to Guatemala. Some Americans are moving to Africa. Some Americans are moving to the Caribbean, but not as much as illegal immigration is allowing people, I said allow, in the country. See, I'm not against legal immigration. I'm against illegal immigration. Very important. I just wanted to state there, family, because I do think it's very important. Okay? So I think we should look at this. I think we should look at this. Give me a second here. I'm dealing with this new program. Bear with me.
Declared a state of emergency on Friday. This is in response to thousands of migrants burst to the city in recent months from the United States southern border in a political dispute over border security. The city expects to spend $1 billion to manage the influx of the migrants. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican who is seeking a third term in November's U.S. midterm elections, has bused more than 3,000 migrants to New York. Adams criticized Abbott for failing to alert city officials when sending migrants to the city, calling it a manufactured crisis.
I want you guys to think about that. I really want you guys to think about that. I want you to think about that they're willing to spend $14 million, okay? They want to spend $14 million of sending these illegal immigrants to America. To New York. And these states they're sending them to, they sent them to New York, they sent them to D.C., they even sent them to Martha's Vineyard. Now it's getting real. Now it's getting real because one thing they understand is power and comfort. And what I mean by that, family, think about it. You're going to send these illegal immigrants to some of the residents of the most powerful people in the nation, the most richest people in the nation. They have property in Martha's Vineyard and Hollywood, California, but in Martha's Vineyard, right? It's supposed to be this oasis, this getaway, okay? We have certain places in the United States that are very prestigious, and Martha's Vineyard is one of them. The whole entire Martha's Vineyard is very expensive to live in, so we can understand the powerful people that live there. And they send the illegal immigrants up there and drop them off. So now you hear more talks and discussions and debates behind this is because now the rich are involved. Yeah, they're going to affect their way of living. See, I don't know if I agree or disagree with their tactics, because if you've been asking for funding to secure your borders and you see that other countries around the world secure their borders, and you believe that the influx of illegal immigration, we don't have enough people on the ground to cover it, to actually capture them. See, that's the thing about, I think, the way we think, family. We don't really think about the bigger picture. See, America isn't bad to you. You know why? You're not trying to crawl your way into Mexico. You're not trying to crawl your way into Canada. You live in one of the best countries in the world. I just want you to think about it. And some people are like, you sound like a Republican. No, I'm not. I'm just an American. This is my lineage is here. So I do have a connection. I do have a love for the country. But I just want you to think about it. I just want you to think about it. Because we don't look at it like that. You don't want to go nowhere else. You didn't thought about Africa. You didn't thought about the Caribbean. And you've probably even visited. And you said, it ain't for me. And you came back to America. So here's the thing. You are a black American we should definitely be voting for reparations, right? But on the other hand, topics like these, we're kind of like, I understand. Because I tell people to look at it on another level. Look at it on a level where it was your house and you was having a house party. You invited the homies over, right? Few ladies, they're in there having a good time, right? Then there's some other people that some other people knew. You say, okay, that's cool. Come on in. Come on in. But you start noticing you're running out of alcohol. You're running out of snacks. You know, people can't get into the bathroom. They start eating food out the refrigerator and freezer during the party. Everybody's still having a good time. Next thing you know, you're running out of toilet paper and baby wipes. These are the resources. I just want to make it real for people when your country becomes overpopulated. I'm not agreeing with or disagreeing with the two governors in the other 8 states that's in cahoots with this whole, monopoly of busing and transporting illegal immigrant migrants. It's just something to look at, family. Very interesting. Very interesting. I keep doing the same thing.
Report.
New York City's mayor has declared a state of emergency over the thousands of migrants being sent from southern border states.
Our city's exceptional ability to respond to a temporary crisis is being used by others to solve a long-standing national problem. More than 17,000 asylum seekers, mostly from South America, have been bused directly to New York City from our southern border since April of this year.
Eric Adams said that by the end of its fiscal year, the city expected to spend $1 billion helping the new arrivals. The migrants are sent to the city from other states, including Texas and Arizona. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has spent upwards of $14 million sending more than 10,000 migrants to cities including Washington, D.C., New York, and Chicago. Self-proclaimed sanctuary cities as a political statement about an increase in migrants at the Texas border, something the government has often been caught doing itself. Here's Abbott last month.
The Biden administration, as we speak, with the current numbers, even before the elimination of Title 42, they've been dumping large numbers of migrants in cities up and down the border, leaving the cities to grapple with challenges they don't have the capability of dealing with. They themselves have been putting these migrants on buses to San Antonio.
Greg Abbott and others want the Democrats to put pressure.
I think my question here is why doesn't America spend money? We're the most police country in the world. Okay, we have more law enforcement agents per capita than any other country in the world. We are the most police country. We have all sorts of law enforcement agencies. You have sheriff's offices, police offices. You have marshals and CIA agent, Homeland Defense, Border Patrol, Customs, ATF, FBI. I mean, the state police, the local police, the county police. We have more police in this country than any other country in the world. So here's my question. And we have a National Guard for every state. We're also one of the most militarized countries in the world. We have our own legalized, constituted militia in every state. National Guards are just militias, organized militias. That's all I say, because that's part of the Constitution. So that's what that's why each state established a National Guard. National, not regional, national to their state. Here's my question. Why doesn't America, just like they do any other country, put troops on ground to help the Mexican police, to help the Guatemalan police, to help the Honduras police, and military service people to go out and sort and eradicate crime in their countries? Why don't we do that? Because I recall when Donald Trump was barking orders at the Mexican president of what they was going to pay and what they're going to owe. And the Mexican president like, hey, we got bigger fish to fry. We got cartels running loose. They're killing people. How about you come help? See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Sometimes you got to go to the source. But I guess people don't really look at it that way. Right? Because New York City is in a state of emergency. Yes, it is. He declares a state of emergency, family, because they have overpopulation of New York. People are now starting to move out into the boroughs where the boroughs are getting filled up, but a lot of people cannot afford it because guess what? New York has a high population of illegal immigrants. So they have one of the highest rates of homelessness. See, a lot of these things are simply linked. You have a high population of homelessness. You have a high population of disease. You have a high population of STDs because more people, as Biggie would say, more money, more problems. That's kind of the way, if you having more people, then the land mass can act, the capacity of the land mass can actually support. Have you ever been to New York? People love New York. I'm not saying New York is a bad city. I'm not stating that New York is a bad city. I went to New York, had a really great time. It's just a lot of people there. I mean, shit. It's a lot of people in New York, especially New York City, Manhattan. It's packed, okay? So who can only imagine where other pockets, of New York is. But I tell you this, where it isn't overpopulated in New York at? You start going towards Kingston, Canada, up there in Fort Drum, New York, where the military base is. It ain't overpopulated up there. Negative 63 degrees. That's why. People ain't going over there. Let me continue here. I'm trying to figure out how to do this, family. Bear with me. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Here we go. Now, it says here that Mayor Eric Adams on Friday declared a state of emergency to help handle an influx of asylum seekers being bussed into the city from Texas and other states, who are estimated to have increased the number of people in the city's shelters to a record high. Now their shelters are overflooding. Let me move this to the other side, family. I keep moving my head in the way. Now their shelters are being overflooded. Okay? Mayor Adams also states he further called for the emergency federal and state relief as the city expects projected costs of more than $1 billion related to the migrants this year alone. I got a question. Once they sign a new budget, and usually they sign a new budget in October and November, so it's probably there's a budget already in place, but he's stating that for the next year, it's going to cost the city $1 billion. What's the state GDP? How much does the state bring in a year from taxes or property tax or sale tax? And then wait a minute, is he projecting that New York City is going to go broke? Is going to be in a large deficit because of illegal immigration? Then it kind of makes me think, is that why Florida and Texas are busing illegal immigrants to New York, to D.C., to Martha's Vineyard? Did they foresee the future that overpopulation causes hikes in resources? I mean, I'm just asking questions. Like I told you, I'm not one way or another. I'm just asking questions, family. Let me see what you guys got going over here. I see we got Jermaine Anderson. We got Jermaine Anderson in the room. Jay Darnell, what's going on, everyone? Jay the Informant. Kane. Jay the Informant says, if Trump gets back in office, Remember what he did last time with ICE. He put them on the street and gave them more money than the Obama administration. Why did he even mention that he's a Republican? I don't know. I don't know who he was referring to. Okay. Kane said it's sort of like choose between your family member or the stranger. Exactly. Always remember, this is Brent C. What's going on, Brent? Always remember, U.S. destabilized most South American countries in the 80s for a coca plant. You're absolutely correct. Good point. Good point. If this is your first time, okay. Yeah, I got this new system, family. I'm trying to really figure out how to do things, but nonetheless, I may go back to my old platform. But let's move on. Let's move on. There's more stories that you're going to see here, okay? There's more stories that you're going to see here about the state of emergency for New York for overpopulation due to immigration, illegal immigration, rather. And then Adams condemning, he's condemning the Texas governor for sending the illegal immigrants there. And again, I hate to say it, family, I understand it. Because you know what? If you don't want to give us, border security, this is from their point of view. I don't have a dog in the fight. If you just want to keep ignoring us that we need border funding to secure the borders down here because we have a problem of illegal immigration and you're saying that we don't, but we see that we do. You're saying that we don't, but you see that we do and you know that we do. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to take all those illegal immigrant migrants and we're going to drop them off in Democratic ran cities. Not only that, we're going to make sure we drop them off in majority black Democratic ran cities. So we kill two birds, one stone. We make you guys look like doofuses in the November primary with your overpopulated cities. Then number two, we solely depreciate the black value in those areas by overpopulation as well. They kill two birds with one stone. It's not that one side is more racist than the other. They just do it differently. And you have to see it. You have to see how they do it. No more conspiracy theories, just the truth, family. And we have to accept it for what it is, okay? Now, here's your boy. Texas Governor Greg Abbott told the Center Square the New York City's mayor and other Democratic leaders are hypocritical for criticizing him for helping out our local communities by busing out migrants to sanctuary cities like D.C., New York, and Chicago. That's right, all black cities, family. His comments were in response to New York City Mayor Eric Adams declaring an emergency Friday over humanitarian crisis stemming from illegal immigration at the southern border. You know what's crazy about this? Is that Governor Abbott is stating he's busing out to these sanctuary cities. Not only are these sanctuary cities all overpopulated and majority black, but he lives in the largest state in the union by landmass. He's the governor of Texas. I live in Texas now. I'm usually from Washington, D.C. There's no space in D.C. In Texas, you can drive 2 days across the state. Some people would take 2 to 3 days to drive across Texas. And one of those days, the only thing you're going to see is farmland. Now, unfortunately, because of overpopulation in Texas, because there is, farmers are now selling their farms and developers are coming in, buying up the land and start building communities on, making billions of dollars. So again, I just wonder if Texas and Florida and some of these southern states that's bordering Mexico and Guatemala and all these other countries, El Salvador, I wonder if they foresee the future. Family, I'm just guessing here. Because I looked up overpopulation here. It said it's getting too crowded for comfort. It's getting too crowded for comfort. Is that true? What is the negative effects of unsustainable urbanization? I'm not going to read. I'm just reading some of the titles. Maybe that can spark some, intellectual thought. It says this can have several positive results. It will alleviate traffic congestion in the mega cities, easier to manage water disposal, socially cohesive neighborhoods will develop from these cities, less air pollution. All of those things include overpopulation. Why do you think, like China, air is always polluted? It's because overpopulation. They have way too many people for the land mass that China is on. They have over 1 billion people. Now, there are some scientists out there that can say for that size of land, it could, be beneficial to the citizens as well as the environment if they had 735,000 people. 735 million people versus 1 billion people. When I went over to Japan, people are literally living on top of themselves. You're crying about your 650 square foot apartment? No. Try 300 square feet, 250 square feet studio apartment where you walk in, take 10 steps, and that's it. America has always been known for large houses, large lawns. Now, in the South, I'm speaking about in the South and the Midwest. Now, Northeast, yeah, we've always been living in small spaces, but not like 250 square feet and it's an apartment. Everything is embedded to the walls. You just have a bed, a TV, and maybe a couch and one bathroom. That's not even part of your square footage. So these are the things we have to look at, family. Believe it or not. Okay? Brent C says 14 million to bust out migrants, but 1 billion to care for them. Smart. He caught it. He caught it, family. Stonks and chomps. There is a reason that someone blew up the Georgia Guidestones. Pod apartments. Absolutely, but no. Brent C made a really good point. Really good point. He spent 14 million so he wouldn't lose $1 billion. Fair deal. Fair deal. Because now Mary Adams, they digging inside the bank. But I want you guys to look at this too. Now, I don't know how real the World Counts website is. Really good information. But family, I want you to look at this. This is very intriguing. Look at this really quickly. Where is it at? Right here. There it is. This is running metrics of temperature, water, all sorts of things on this one website, the World Counts. Okay, so let's go. It says number of planet Earths we need, 1.7. Ain't that crazy? For the amount of people, it says here to provide resources and absorb our waste. That's crazy. Let me go back. Family, do you understand that? Because of the amount of people we have to provide resources and absorb our waste, we need 1.79 planets. So we basically need 2. Okay? It says here, tons of resources extracted from Earth globally this year. Chemical production, sales in U.S. global. Look at that. Trillions of dollars. Now, here's where it gets funny. Time left to the end of seafood, 25 years. 25 years, family, to the end of seafood. Now, hopefully, this why is in another day, but no, 25 years. Time left to the end of seafood. These are projections, family, but these people are tracking this information, and this is all due to overpopulation, waste, pollution, all of those things. Time left till the world runs out of fresh water, 17 years. Remember all those people talking about how the world is coming to an end, doomsday? I don't go by those things, but I do go by math. And they've been tracking these things for a very long time, and people are like, hey, you better store this, you better store that. And they're talking about in 17 years, we're going to be out of fresh water. So I'm going to tell you right now, family, if this is true, you're going to really start hearing things around 5 years left before they predict that fresh water will run out. It's going to get real crazy around the 5-year mark. And that's when you really should start believing these quote unquote estimations, predictions. This is a thought. And it states here, time left till the end of the rainforest, 77 years. The end of the rainforest, 77 years. Now, there's something else I really want to show you guys that I think is interesting, because there's people who are out there who does all of this data. They compile data and they put it on a website for I can talk about it, and did none of the hard work. I did none of the hard work. It says Stunks and Chump states that you need to try updating your graphics driver over seeing if your browser has an update. Mine used to do. I don't know what is it doing? Let's see here. He also states that the end of seafood will be beginning of my next life living stress-free. Okay. Alaskan snow crab season was canceled for the first time ever. Okay, so it's a real thing. Thank you for pointing that out. It's a real thing. He also states that 1 billion crabs disappear. They don't know if it's from temperature changes causing them to migrate or go deeper, or disease. I believe it was temperature changes. I do believe that it's linked to global warming. But I digress on the whole global economy. But all of this, again, is due to overpopulation. And we're kind of just choosing our Democratic, hopefuls, so to speak. We're just choosing because they're Democrat. We're not using this. We're not using our brain. I'm not saying vote for Republican. I'm not stating that. I am not stating vote Republican. I'm saying vote for those who put reparations on the table. Vote for something tangible, just like every other group. Because if not now, then when? Because family. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Now, here's a map that's going to show us the amount of illegal immigration in a lot of cities in America, okay? So let's first go to Alaska. Supposedly they have 10,000 illegal immigrants. California, 2.7 million illegal immigrants. And the only reason why I do not believe that California hasn't shipped any illegal immigrants out of California is because California is ran by a Democrat. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't check it, but I have a strong belief that the governor of California is Democrat. Please check me. And he don't want to make the Democratic Party look bad by shipping his illegal immigrants to D.C., to Chicago, to New York, to Martha's Vineyard. Okay? Let me go on. Arizona, 273,000 illegal immigrants. Nevada, 168,000 illegal immigrants. Now, a lot of these Midwestern states that's up north, you don't see that many. Wyoming, 7,000. Montana, 3,000. North Dakota, 5,000. South Dakota, 7,000. Okay? You got Minnesota over here, 81,000. Wisconsin, 70,000. Kansas, 69,000. Oklahoma, 90,000. The state of Texas has 1.7 million illegal immigrants. Louisiana, 70,000. Let's go over to Florida, 772,000 illegal immigrants. Family, in this country, we have over 11 million illegal immigrants. So whatever the country's population is, subtract 11 million people, and then you have our true population. So the last time I looked at the American population, it was around 330 million. And some people are like, well, those are only documented people, But sometimes in America, I don't know how they do it. They actually document undocumented people, and they still are counted as undocumented. But they do it just for the population, just for the Census Bureau. Okay. Last but not least, we're going to cover some quick numbers. Stunks and Chunks say 11 million that we know of. I think there's a lot more. I'm going to go off on a whim. I believe there's anywhere from 20 to 30 illegal immigrants in America. Someone like, okay, you're projecting, you're throwing out numbers. Where you get it from? Just a hypothetical guess. I have no idea. They're not going to take drones and count everybody. Some people may never come outside. But anyway, I digress. Now, Pew Research, which a lot of people like to quote, somewhat reputable, I guess, have some projections out here. Now, they stated back in the 70s, the illegal immigration of America was at 4.7, and ever since then, it only went out to 2018, rose, 13.7%, or up to 13.7%. And it states here that most immigrants, 77% are in the country legally, okay, while almost a quarter are unauthorized. Those are the illegal immigrants, those who are unauthorized. Okay, so we have about a quarter of immigrants in the country, a quarter of them are illegal. And they're not just talking about Hispanic, they're talking about black as well. Okay? Now, we're going to see where the majority of them come from so we can reside with those numbers there. Lawful immigrants, 35.2 million. Unauthorized immigrants, 10.5 million. Okay, so this study, I believe, is a year or two behind, but nonetheless, 11 million. Let's go down here. It states here, right here, family. Let me just highlight this for you guys. The decline in the unauthorized immigrant population is due largely to a fall in the number from Mexico, the single largest group of unauthorized immigrants in the U.S. between 2007 and 2017. This group decreased by 2 million. Meanwhile, there was a rise in the number from Central America and Asia. Now, some people are going to say that's due to Donald Trump border security laws, why it decreased in 2018. But somehow people from Central America and Asia was coming over here illegally. See, it doesn't matter where I see a lot of these racist videos where people that's part of the dominant society saying a lot of racist tropes towards what they like to believe, I hate this term, people of color, but black people and Hispanic people. And I'm just stating a fact here. No one ever does that to Asian people because they have it where they do not believe that Asians can be illegal. Oh, they probably own the closest dry cleaning or food or a hair shop, that they can't be illegal. Yeah, there's a lot of illegal Asians in America, but they will have you believe the only illegal immigration is people of Hispanic and black cultures. Stating the fact, family. Okay? This is Pew Research, very reputable. Everybody knows about it. But they say it was a rise in illegal immigrants from Asia. Okay? It states not all lawful permanent residents choose to pursue U.S. citizenship. Those who wish to do so may apply after meeting certain criteria. And maybe those people cannot meet that certain criteria. Here we go. Mexico is the top origin country of the U.S. immigration population. In 2018, roughly 11.2 million immigrants living in the U.S. were from there, accounting for 25% of all U.S. immigrants. The next largest origin groups were from China, okay, India, Philippines. That's all Asia, family. And then El Salvador, which is in South America. Central America. So right there, family, you saw a large increase coming from Asia. Why is this important? Why is this important in politics? If we don't understand the total dynamic of things, then we don't understand how political parties play with black people, why they continue to undermine us and flood our cities with illegal immigrants. And then say, well, look at your cities. Look at where you live. You live in slums. You live in ghettos. You live in hoods. Am I saying that black people haven't contributed to the way that some low-income areas look? No, I'm not saying that. But we had help. But it's a bigger play here, family. And the message I really want you to take away from this is, once again, don't vote for nothing. Do not just go out and vote blue no matter who. Don't just go out and vote red, who cares? Right? Don't vote blue no matter who, and don't vote red, who cares? Vote for something, because every other group gets something. And until we start using our vote as leverage, as a bargaining chip, as a contractual advantage, then why should we? It's not going to change our conditions at all. Stumps and Chunk says a lot of it is because we don't even enforce visas overstays. That is how the government has number on a lot of them. See, I thought of it, when people come over here on visas for a short period of time, then all of a sudden they can hide out in the country and don't have to leave. We already have things in place, family. Did you guys know that? We already have things in place to track people. It's called an ankle monitor. So when people come over here on vacation, quote unquote, they come over here on visas, just put an ankle monitor on them. That way we can go get them. I know some of them get cut off, but it was fun. We also have an extremely broken immigration system that really hasn't been updated to reflect the demand of the current times. I always vote a checkerboard so that both parties are forced to work together, or at the very least, I'm entertained at City Hall meetings, especially when Raphael don't answer the question Warnock, and when Herschel, what the hell you say, Walker, have a debate. I am work with many police officers. Man, get your ass out of here. Both of them are horrible. One of them can complete a sentence and the other can't. But both of them said nothing that will support the most impoverished people in Georgia, which are black folk there. They didn't say anything that you'll be listening that will change your condition if you voted for them. Family, stop voting for nothing. That's all I'm stating here. That's all I'm stating here. That's it. So if you was following the video, what I've done is connect a lot of things, but it has to do with political positioning and political power. See, we talked about the racism in both political parties. We talked about overpopulation and what that does to the earth, what that does to America, and what that does for the black community. I hope you caught all those connections, because it's very important that you guys understand that. Okay? You guys have a great and wonderful day.